Welcome to the second module. My name is Sara Blanc. Activities are the final goal of a long roadmap that conduct us to design a solid ground on which plan our learning activities. The module is structured into three parts. First, we present competenциal frameworks useful to define the transversal objectives or general skills we want our students to acquire. Second, we reflect on the roadmap planning based on students' needs and the benefits we will get. And finally, we present an experience of a primary and secondary school placed in Valencia, Spain, which has implemented many activities around the school garden within a school curricular program. We want to highlight two frameworks useful to define transversal competencies. First, UNESCO's Sustainable Development Goals is a 70 objectives program of sustainable, universal, and ambitious development, a program of the people, by the people, and for the people conceived with the active participation of UNESCO. The way to apply these general objectives is discussed more specifically in a document called Education for Sustainable Development Goals Learning Objectives. The QR on the right directs you to the document in UNESCO Digital Library. Our second framework is DICCO, the Digital Competence Framework for Citizens, supported by the European Commission. This framework is structured in several dimensions, from the 5 areas to several examples of use on the applicability of the competence to different purposes. It is available in the Publications Office of the European Union. And we should also use methodologies that favor inclusion. Inclusive education means all children learn together in the same classroom. Inclusive education is you can find a lot of information about that from UNICEF. How can we make sure this happens, that inclusion happens? And how do we ensure that all learners are supported and no one is left behind? First, we need to encourage students to adopt certain values in class, such as group values, to support each other, diversity and equality. Additionally, we need to be aware of students' needs all the time, so the teacher must be always present, taking time and making the effort to observe and be subtle to prevent discomfort. Finally, we need to take into consideration emotional and physical blocks or barriers by making the classroom as accessible as possible. It is important to make the most of the time, provide pre-support, help with learning difficulties, respect self-pacing, offer personal choice of students of study material, and provide individual support. The second part of the module reflects about the necessity of a roadmap. We choose the school garden as a case study where the work on competencies is put them into practice. The roadmap for the design of learning activities in our school garden starts with the necessary debate and consensus with all involved staff and teachers. It will lead to obtain good ideas which should be analyzed according with strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats of your school. Such analysis help on building a solid base to design activities focused on the real needs of our students. Finally, it is a healthy exercise to reflect on the benefits that the new educational approach will have before making plans and implement the activities. To better understand which could be the benefits of this new approach, the module presents an example of a participant school in the Erasmus Plus project, School Gardens for Future Citizens, funded by the Spanish Service for the Internationalization of Education in 2018. We also recommend the interview about inclusive learning activities from our partners in Porto, Portugal, the Agrupamento de Escolas de Paredes. By the end, the learning objectives we expect you to achieve within this module are: identify transversal and general competencies frameworks, understand the roadmap to design learning activities around the garden and integrate it in the school program, and be critical in designing activities that allows your students to practice competencies based on both their needs and general objectives, especially taking into account the sustainable development goals and the digital skills European framework. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that the module is of interest to you.